Hello everyone, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. My name is Danny Burke and today we're going to be looking at the top 10 famous last words part 3. I did part 1 and 2 quite a while ago now and we got some really good responses from you guys on them. It does seem quite interesting to people to learn what the last words of famous people were just before they died. Why do people like hearing that? Well, perhaps that's a question for a whole other video. For now though, let's get into our number 10 with Terry Kath. He was the guitarist and one of the lead singers for the famous rock band Chicago. Now he had a self-admitted history of drug and alcohol abuse and had developed a bit of a habit of carrying guns around and playing with them. On January 23rd, 1978, after a party at a friend's house in LA, he was playing around with his unloaded guns and pulling the trigger next to his head. Eventually, he picked up a semi-automatic 9mm pistol and told his friends, "Don't worry about it, look, the clip is not even in it." Unfortunately, the gun still had a single round in the chamber. Kath put the gun to his head, pulled the trigger, and instantly died. Those became his last words, telling his friends not to worry. Next up at number 9 now we have Michael Jackson. The death of the King of Pop was overshadowed somewhat in many ways by the trial of Conrad Murray, Jackson's doctor at the time of his death, who was convicted of killing Jackson. He gave Jackson a powerful hospital anesthetic which he subsequently overdosed on. Jackson's nickname for this anesthetic was Milk. Conrad Murray said that Jackson's last words to him were, "I'd like to have some milk, please give me some more." Moving on to number 8 now we have Sam Cooke. Born in Mississippi in 1931, Sam Cooke went on to become one of the most famous soul and gospel singers of all time. I love his music, you guys should definitely listen to him if you haven't done so already. By 1964 his career was really just getting started at the age of 33. On December 11th of that year he was staying at the Hacienda Motel in LA. A woman called Elisa Boyer had accompanied Cooke back to his hotel room, but after feeling uncomfortable with him she gathered up her clothes and left the hotel while he was in the bathroom. She accidentally took some of his clothes too. According to the motel manager, Cooke then came downstairs and tried to break into the office in a rage, demanding to know the whereabouts of the woman. The manager, Bertha Franklin, then shot him in what she said was self-defense as Cooke approached to attack her. He died soon after. His last words were simply, "Lady, you shot me." Many of Cooke's acquaintances have doubted the official story and feel that Cooke was wrongfully killed. Next up at number 7 now we have Frida Kahlo. Born in 1907, Kahlo was a famous Mexican artist known for her portraits inspired by the nature and artifacts of Mexico. She spent much of the 1930s traveling around Mexico and the US, painting her works as she went. This eventually led to her landing her own exhibition in New York in 1938 and another the following year in Paris. On July 19, 1954, after years of illness, Kahlo died from a pulmonary embolism, although some people say she overdosed on painkillers. According to those close to her, her last words were, "I hope the exit is joyful and hope never to return." Next up at number 6 now we have Bing Crosby. This singer was a star of Hollywood's golden age and had a career that lasted over 50 years. You guys may know him as the singer of White Christmas, perhaps one of the most famous Christmas songs of all time. For the last few years of his life, Crosby had been recovering from a life-threatening fungal infection in his lung that had seen him go in and out of hospital. On October 14, 1977, he played 18 holes of golf with his friends. As they headed back to the clubhouse, Crosby said to them, "That was a great game of golf, fellas." Soon after, he collapsed and died instantly from a massive heart attack. Moving on to number 5 now we have Amy Winehouse. This English singer-songwriter became world famous for her music that spanned across genres such as soul, rhythm and blues and jazz. Her 2006 album Back to Black led to 5 Grammy Awards, making her the first British woman to ever do so. She had a much publicised battle with alcohol and drugs throughout her career, even referencing it in many of her songs. On July 23rd, 2011, her bodyguard found her unresponsive at her home in London. An ambulance was called but she was pronounced dead on arrival. Her alcohol blood level was found to be 5 times the legal driving limit. She had seen her doctor just the night before, who claimed that some of her last words were simply, "I don't want to die." Alright, coming in at number 4 now we have Marie Antoinette. She was the last queen of France before the French Revolution at the end of the 18th century. As such, the revolutionaries tried her for high treason. She was found guilty and sentenced to execution by guillotine. As she climbed up the scaffolding, she accidentally stepped on the foot of her executioner. She turned to him and said, "Pardon me, sir, I meant not to do it." These would be her last words before her execution. Next up at number 3 now we have Barry White. During the 1970s, Barry White became one of the most popular soul singers in the world, famous for his distinctive bass voice and romantic image. For most of his career though, his image was also an overweight one. He was thought to weigh over 375 pounds and suffered from a number of related health problems. In 2002 he was hospitalized with kidney failure. The following year, White died in LA at the age of 58. According to a nurse who was treating him before he died, White's last words to her were, "Leave me alone, I'm fine." Next up at number 2 now, we have George Harrison. He was one of 4 members of a band that you guys may have heard of, known as the Beatles. George died in 2001 after a long battle with cancer. According to his wife, Olivia Harrison, his last words to her were simply, "Love one another," which reflected the message he promoted throughout much of his time with the Beatles and the rest of his life. Harrison's family scattered his ashes, according to Hindu tradition, in a private ceremony in the Ganges and Yamuna rivers in India. And finally, number 1 now, we have Charlie Chaplin. He is perhaps one of the most famous names of the 20th century. His comedy has transcended time and cross-language barriers. By the mid-1970s, Chaplin was well into his 80s and still had plans for future film projects. Unfortunately though, his health worsened to the point where he needed constant care. When it looked like his time had come, a priest was called to give him his last rites. The priest said, "May the Lord have mercy on your soul." Chaplin's reply, said to be his last words, was, "Why not? After all, it belongs to him." He died in his sleep on Christmas morning 1977 at the age of 88. Well, there you go guys. Which one of those did you find the most interesting, or at least the most memorable? Sometimes these quotes end up sticking around in my mind for a very long time afterwards. There's plenty more of them out there if you want a part 4 to this series, so let me know. My name is Danny Burke, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.